Oye, te habla tío Sabio Vega. This is Sabio Vega and you watching Tru Heel Heat a mi manera o pa' la calle.
What's up, guys? It's Wolverine, Death Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, and you're watching Tru Heel Heat. Who better? Nobody. This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero, and if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Y'all know what time it is. It is time for the Saturday morning cookout. It is time for the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast. Saturday morning, we talk about the wrestling news. And of course, the wrestling news is centered around Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And has he brought back WWE's Attitude? The Attitude Era has returned. Blood on Monday Night Raw. Him dropping F-bombs on Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk all about that and his angle with Cody Rhodes. Talk about CM Punk's return to Monday Night Raw in a heated segment with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. Has AEW already fumbled Mercedes Moné? We're going to answer those questions as well as much more. The Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast. Let's hit the intro. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 270. Look at ya, boy! Discussing the latest wrestling news, including you had The Rock bringing back the Attitude Era to WWE, as well as we answer the question, has AEW already fumbled Mercedes Moné's debut? We'll get a recap of this weekend wrestling with WWE Raw with the heated Rock and Cody segment, as well as CM Punk's return. Smackdown last night with Jade Cargill's debut. NXT, AEW Dynamite with Swerve, Strickland, and Konosuke Takeshita for the number one contendership. AEW Rampage, CMLL had AEW talent on it last night, as well as Ring of Honor and TNA Impact. To do all of that, I am joined by our great team here, the trio that give you the flagship every single week. First up, the princess of all the Tru Heels, Miss Krssi Love. How you doing? Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, everybody. Hello. Happy to be back. We got a lot to talk about. I'm fumbled the ball on Mercedes. I can't wait to hear this news. Would I miss something?
I'm just gonna put information out there and we're gonna ask the question.
Maybe with her stylist that was a fumble, but yeah, everything else, I don't know.
We'll see if we answer that question in the next 2 hours here. Josh, we have the True Draw himself, the master of all artistry and t-shirts. The True Draw Josh is back with us. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You see me a little bit more quiet as usual. Just dealing with a little headache, so but still wanted to come on. So
We appreciate
it.
it.
Yeah, so looking forward to talking about. Not looking forward to talking about this past week.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a good week for the Cody Crybabies. It wasn't a good week for the Cody.
Well, technically, I'm not a crybaby. That's Kel's son, not me.
Hey, I group all of y'all together. Y'all are all the fans of Cody or the Cody Crybabies. But no, we're gonna talk about that. Glad you're here with us, and happy birthday, yes, to you. You had your birthday this week. Happy birthday to Josh. Send him
technically last week.
Last week, this week, we're still celebrating. It's the whole 2 weekends. Like, what are you talking about, man? You get all 2 weekends.
It was over the week, so yeah, hey.
You get all 2 weekends. And of course, send those super chat donations if you want to help out. Show your support to the Drew Jaw Josh. Show your support to Miss Krssi Love and myself and our producer in the back, Baby Seth, with a super chat donation. Sound off in the live chat. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, to make sure your comment is highlighted on screen, you can send a super chat donation. And of course, we appreciate y'all if you are joining us live for the flagship podcast. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show that appreciation back the simplest way possible. Takes no money to drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And like we said before, sound off in the live chat like Chuck Berries we got with us this morning. He says, good morning, y'all. The storm has arrived. The final boss has spoken, and Swerve is number one. It was a good week for the black community, at least.
We'll discuss it.
Oh, okay. All right. Krssi Love got some spiciness. She got some spiciness for us.
I don't know about spiciness, but we'll discuss. It was a good week, but it could have been better? Yes. Let's talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Caden says, he says, The Rock has saved pro wrestling. Hashtag feel the mana. Hashtag the final boss. Hashtag what? Malala? Eric, this says good morning, fam. The biggest global storm has arrived, and don't cross the boss, the final boss. Excuse me. I want all the smoke from the crew. I want all the smoke. I know the crew's gonna see that headline and they're gonna tap in to our podcast this week. I can't wait. I'm gonna get all bunch of death threats in the comment section. It's so great. Big Man Dog says Jimmy will have the WrestleNomics stats locked and loaded for the Ramble. Absolutely, Jimmy will. We always appreciate you, Jimmy, for that. But we start off every single Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast with our Tru Heel roll call, shouting out y'all that's supporting us on social media, as well as right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Our top 3 conversation starters over on our Facebook group page. You got Fonzie Lafleur. You have number 2, Randy Trevor Lewis, and number 1, Stewie John Palmer. Well, congratulations to him. And then we got our Patreon backers, Vala B, Alan Weinstein, and Nick Jackson, the Negro Buck, Alex McCarthy, Professor Chris, Austin K, Robert, Steve, 5th Generation Carney, Ladarius, John, aka Russell Scopes, Dan, Kobe, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Marcus Ryan, James, Alan, Santo, Queen Monet, Christopher and Victoria Kidd, and Nick Tim. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. And before we get into what we missed this week, we have our first super chat donation, and it's a super chism from the man, the myth, the legend, Will Chisholm. Thank you so much. He says, SP3, you making the Cody cry babies, man, you yam or cry, Cody cry babies, yam, and Aldo making the crew mad. Yes, I am also making the crew mad. That is true. Do you have a death wish, my brother? I have no fear in my bones. I don't care who comes after me. I've had the Becky fans come after me in recent memory. I've had the crew come after me, the Cody crybabies. I want all the smoke. I ain't never scared. But let's start off talking about the Cody Pride babies this morning because we gotta talk about Monday Night Raw with what we miss. Miss Krssi Love, a true jaw judge. WWE Raw, we very rarely start off with them, but it was one of, if not their very best. It was their very best episode of WWE TV of the WrestleMania 40 build, and one of the best overall in recent memory. And a lot of that had to come down to The Rock and Cody Rhodes. They kicked off the show with Cody cutting a promo in response to what Roman had to say on Smackdown, and then The Rock making a surprise appearance to kick off the show and whispering sweet nothings into the ear of Cody Rhodes that had him visibly shooken. This led to the main event matchup where Jey Uso defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. This broke out into a brawl between Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and the Bloodlines, Jamie Uso and Solo Sikoa, with also Drew McIntyre getting involved to take out Seth. Jey would get the win. However, this was all a plan where The Rock sneak attacked Cody Rhodes in a memorable beatdown. The Rock talked trash throughout the backstage area, beating up Cody to the outside where it was raining, and he beat that man bloody. We had blood on Monday Night Raw for the first time in what feels like forever. Rock proceeded to take off his belt, which was a Mama Rhodes inspired belt, and wipe Cody's blood on it as we close the show with The Rock telling Cody Rhodes to not fuck with the final boss. Yes, an F-bomb dropped. It was bleeped out, but it was on Monday Night Raw this week. That wasn't the only curse words, because we had CM Punk return in Chicago, and he called out Drew McIntyre.
Curse words too. Shit,
he had a lot to say about Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, The Rock, and then he called out Drew McIntyre, and they got into a heated exchange with one another where CM Punk even made reference to Vince McMahon after Drew McIntyre referenced he was the chosen one, and Punk asked him, "Who chose you?" Both men were talking over each other. It felt like a real life argument in a lot of ways. This led to Seth Rollins coming out as well, adding to the tension of the segment, and where CM Punk announced that he will be on commentary, similar to what Drew McIntyre was sitting at during this segment, for the World Heavyweight title match between Rollins and McIntyre at WrestleMania. McIntyre wanted to get the final word, but that led to a super kick and a curb stomp for Seth to stand tall to end the segment after walking past CM Punk in the entranceway. Then for the action on this show, which didn't get a lot of spotlight because it was all about the promos, Ricochet defeated JD McDonough in an awesome opener, a big showcase for Ricochet here, who's picking up some momentum in the last recent week. Speaking of someone who had momentum, Sami Zayn stopped his momentum as he lost to Bronson Reed in a very surprising result, thanks to a distraction from his WrestleMania opponent, the Intercontinental Champion Gunther. Post-match, Chad Gable gave him a pep talk where he said that he needed to change his approach for Mania. Meanwhile, Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch got into a heated promo of their own where Rhea made reference to Becky's daughter, saying that she wanted to beat up Becky just enough for her to sit next to her daughter at home and watch her call Ripley mommy. This led to Becky with a intense emotional response, talking about her father not being able to meet her daughter and how much her family means to her, as well as their matchup coming up at WrestleMania. And this all ended with Becky punching Dom right straight in the freaking jaw to end the segment here. Very entertaining segment, very entertaining show. Miss Krssi Love, what did you think about this week's Monday Night Raw? And of course, that final segment with The Rock and Cody Rhodes. I think you're muted.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I think it was one of the best Monday Night Raws they have had in a long time, from beginning to end. Like, there are some parts, but I think consistency for a show knocked it out the park. Great to go into WrestleMania week. I don't know how they're going to upstage this Monday in Brooklyn. So that's very hard to Chicago was on another level. Like, I don't know how they're going to do this one. They got a hard one to match up for this week. I don't see it really happening, though. I promise you.
I'm gonna hold out hope that they got something. We got Rock and Roman advertised for Monday in Brooklyn. I think that Rock has been a guaranteed, always entertaining segment whenever he's been on TV in the build to WrestleMania.
He has been the only one that's really like built the whole like show in itself. Not even his match, but I think the whole damn show. But yeah, he's understood his assignment.
He's the rising tide. He's the big star that is going to bring eyes to this WrestleMania, and he's been front and center throughout of it in the best things about the build.
Best things. I mean, like I didn't know we were going to get The Rock, but then we got this Rock is just like top. I mean, as Romeo would say, cinema. Like that scene from Friday was cinema.
Monday's segment was like this felt like after that Monday Night Raw, I was really like, man, this feels like a legacy defining run for The Rock. Like it could end at WrestleMania, and I think that he has elevated his legacy and his argument to be considered one of the GOATs.
It is. I know he I think this solidified it. No, that last scene, and he was like, and even like when the cameras went off, he's like, no, fuck that. Fuck, like I'm happy like they still had that footage because people need to see, like people that are not even watching us, like, oh, maybe I need to start watching it back. I was like, yo, I've been trying to tell y'all for a minute, like, let's go. Like, even non-wrestling fans like, oh my God, when did he come back? Like, just have a seat, friend. Just come on and just put your eyes to the TV.
Josh, you are our Cody fan here out of the three of us. What did it feel like?
But you know,
well, Josh is a diehard. He's been shooting in the gym when Cody put out his list. He was shooting in the gym back then. But Josh, what did you think about the segment on Monday, and what do you think it did to the overall build for WrestleMania?
I absolutely hated it. I want to talk about it.
Damn.
Thanks for your contributions. We appreciate you, sir.
No, I'm just no, it was good. It was it's something that they really needed. Probably only guarantees that Cody's probably winning at WrestleMania. That's the only positive I see out of it. But I mean, the promo he cut wasn't that good, to be honest with you. The Rock, even not saying nothing, kind of saved that segment. I'm just being honest about that. I mean, overall, the show was good. I really didn't pay attention after that. I only really paid attention to the segments, the matches. I really didn't care about, to be honest with you. I only cared more about the segments. I wanted to see what they were going to do. Like I said before, Rhea and Becky, they've been doing some great stuff. That's why that's been the match that's been more focused than the Bayley and Io match, even though Bayley won the Royal Rumble. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a great Raw, and I do agree with Krssi. I don't know how they're gonna top it in Brooklyn. Even though I mean it's Brooklyn, but then it's Barclays,
but then with Chicago.
No, but then the Brooklyn Nets play there. You know, the bunch of losers. So I mean, they're not going to do much there. So.
Jesus Christ! Oh man,
I'm just saying. I mean, hey, if it was the Garden, that's a whole different story. I'm just saying.
Really, Josh? Really?
Hey, this guy's petty. Really? This guy's he's got to be petty in some way, to the rest of the Cody Bryant babies, and that's gonna be in Brooklyn.
I just don't know how. Is CM Punk guaranteed to be there too?
No, I don't know about. I mean, Punk in 1 week made Drew and Seth more interesting than they did 2 months of Drew and Seth.
Right. I mean,
funny they did, but then it's like at the same time it's like commentary. But I mean, I think he's gonna be good on commentary. It's a weird spot. You know what I mean? Like the man went from like almost many WrestleMania to, hey, we want you in some capacity. Let's put you in commentary.
I mean,
he definitely fucked up on Monday when he mentioned being the referee And then they went, and then he loves to play off the crowd, and he loves that he's in Chicago, so he played off the crowd because he said referee, and the crowd jumped on that idea instead of the commentary idea, and then his ass gonna go on the floor and count the 1, 2, 3 with the left hand just to make Seth look stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
They saved it. They brought it. They brought it back. They saved it in the end. So I'll give them credit for that. But I do think it's worth noting.
Yeah,
he almost fucked it up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then it was just
getting ahead of himself. Phil being Phil.
Because the ref, I think on hindsight, the ref idea was probably better just because he's gonna be active in the ring and stuff like that.
Right.
Commentary. I mean, we know Punk is solid in the commentary. We know he's actually really good at commentary. So it's, I really don't know in this situation. It's like, what do I prefer more? Him being a ref or commentary? I do think his strongest suit is commentary. So that makes the most sense. It's just the way that they spoke about it. I think it was kind of weird. Like, you had like the kind of this false hope that was gonna be a ref, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'll change. I'm gonna do commentary." That's how it kind of felt like.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can't be biased." So let me fall back a little bit here. Vala B with a so I guess a super chat donation here, but he's been a member for 9 months. Thank you so much, Vala B, for all your support you give us here. You give us on Patreon. You give us with super chats. You're always in the chat. We appreciate you for being a part of our community here. He says Roman on the Tony Snell run for this build. 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, but eat screen time. No, he is on his Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Starrcade 97 build schedule. He's not really trying too hard. He knows that he is walking into a loss at WrestleMania, and he's putting in as minimal effort as possible ahead of it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of been a little disappointing, just because it's like we've had this long reign, and you're kind of gonna go out like this, like where there's like no, where your cousin is basically the vocal point of all of it. It's just, I don't know. I expected better, but once again, like I said last week, once you get The Rock involved in anything, it's really hard to top anything. So yeah, he's also in a tough situation where it's like, what can you really do that's gonna outdo your cousin? Anybody? Like it's a tough situation. So I mean, I get it. At the same time, it's like, damn, bro, like you've been champion for 1,300 days and you're going out like a bitch. Like this is kind of
I wouldn't even say he's going out like a bitch. I think that it's a natural human emotion or reaction for when you were told one thing or you had an idea for one thing and you think you're going into WrestleMania to face your cousin and you're going to win, and your title reign that we saw multiple reports in the past said when Roman and Paul Heyman decide, that's when he'll lose the title. That's not what's happening here. It's because the fans decided. The fans decided they wanted Cody because they botched the Cody winning the Royal Rumble before they wanted to do the Rock and before deciding to do the Rock and Roman thing. But the fans told them, no, we want Cody in this spot. Now Cody's going to win the championship. I don't think that this was WWE's overall plan. I don't think this was everyone on WWE's plan. Maybe this was Triple H's plan all along, but I don't think that everybody is on board with the plan, and I definitely don't feel like Roman's effort is saying that he's on board with the plan of Cody winning.
Yeah. Like it's funny because I do see it that way too, but more so like what I was saying, like he's going like a bitch is more the booking. It's like how he's been used the last several weeks, but I do see that, like what you just said, like body who's basically probably, we don't know for sure, we don't know where his mindset is, but it kind of looks like he's mentally checked out. That's how it looks like to me now, but I don't know. It's just, I was like, all the hype they would have done, it's like I thought he would have gone out better, but I mean, it's a WWE thing. It's their fault. They again, like all around, and it's not. I don't think it's more Triple H. I think it's more TKO because DKO did sign The Rock and they did promises things. That's something they should have communicated with Triple H. And I guess because, again, remind you, a lot of people who are involved with TK, they don't know about the wrestling business.
No.
So they're also learning. So they shoehorned this thing. They thought they were trying to shoehorn it and then realized, oh, shit. This probably wasn't the best idea, right? Even though, I mean, again, granted, it's worked out. But, again, everybody that's involved, there's always going to be that one fall person. And I think that's probably going to be Roman, unfortunately. So it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, one of the people that's not going to get what they want, and it seems like Roman is that person. We have
Roman
another.
Is the one that's going to lose. Is that what you're saying, guys?
I think Roman's losing on night 2. I think that's why you do this whole thing. I have another question, but I'll talk about the news and read this super chat first. We got Chuck Berries who says, "Is WrestleMania 41 going to be in Atlanta next year? If so, I think we know what the main event will be. If so, I think we know what the main event will be." I mean, if wherever it's going to be, I think that the main event is going to be Rock and Cody after Monday for WrestleMania 41. I think that's what you do. That's the story to tell coming out of Cody finishing his story of winning the championship. The next big story is Cody Rhodes, WWE champion, versus the final boss, The Rock.
Okay.
What are you saying like that?
Sure.
Jesus.
Okay. All right, fine. I mean, I have to see it play out. Let's see how it goes. Like,
you said it like you don't want to see that match now.
Because that entails that Roman is losing now, so Roman's going to be home.
So you don't want Roman to lose. That's what you're trying to say. Why not? It's stale. It's over.
Stale?
It's stale.
You don't see
it died. They killed that shit at SummerSlam last year.
Yeah, you're right.
Like it's been dragging ass ever since.
You're right. Ever since like the whole like bloodline thing happened, that whole you're right. Sorry. All right, fine. Go.
Yeah, no, I get the gimmick. Last year you still wanted Roman to win, and you were right. You were right.
Yeah, I stuck by it, and everyone laughed at me.
We got what? 3 really good months of television and pay-per-views out of that. But then SummerSlam happened. And we haven't had that quality until The Rock decided, hey, I'm going to be a heel now. We had a 6-month period of it was very dry on fans saying cinema for his bloodline segments. It was very dry on that.
Yeah. It was it's a weird situation. Rock versus Cody next year. It's not so much I don't want to see it. It's just more of like I wonder how they're going to do that. That's just more. So
it's easy. You set it up. You set it up this year. You have Rock and Roman beat Cody and Seth with Rock pinning Cody. And then the next night, it's Bloodline Rules. You have all the shenanigans, all the people coming in. I think that Austin and Cena were on that truck for a reason, and they'll be running in that matchup. We'll get Bloodline members in that matchup running in, but it will be all the faces of WWE in one match, crowning the new face of WWE, Cody Rhodes. You'll have Austin there, Rock there. They'll have Roman there.
That sounds like an overbooked moment that I want to see.
Yeah, it's overbooked as hell. This is gonna be the most overbooked match ever. It's gonna be Backlash 2000 meets freaking Mankind versus The Rock on January 4th, 1999. It's gonna be all those and every Hollywood Hogan and Jeff Jarrett in TNA main event. It's gonna be all of those things combined into one. Hollywood Hulk Hogan, NWO era, TNA, Planet Jarrett era. It's going to be all of those, but it's going to be the final conclusion, the final blow off where none of the interference works. He's got somebody for everybody. Cody's Avengers come through. Cody with 3 crossroads wins the title. But we got to talk about all the ramifications of the segment that closed Monday's show. Monday segment with The Rock busting open Cody Rhodes was the first time in a while that WWE used blood, especially with someone bleeding. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that WWE has no plans to make blood use a regular part of programming, as it will continue to be used very rarely.
Disservice.
It was said WWE isn't planning to take an AEW-like approach where blood is featured more prominently. Vince McMahon in particular used to be against blood in recent years, and this is another sign that the thinking during Vince's time is now over. The Rock was said to be given more leeway and was allowed to use it for his angle, since he is one of the company's top stars, and this would imply to language as well, as Rock will get to do pretty much what he wants. However, as he continues to get away with more, it's likely that at least other top stars will also be able to do more. Despite reported controversy over The Rock using curse words in his promos during WWE programming on social media, he once again used curse words on Monday Night Raw, which were bleeped out during the USA Network broadcast. However, the curse words could be heard live, such as the segment where The Rock assaulted Cody Rhodes backstage and outside of the arena. During the first segment, Rock's made a surprise appearance and whispered something into Cody's ear that left him shaking. And he said on an Instagram post that it was, "Tonight, I will make you bleed." After the assault, since The Rock hates both constraints and rules, he shared behind-the-scenes footage from the segment online, and he wrote, "I hate constraints and bullshit rules, and just because some at WWE producer says clear, meaning we are no longer live on the air and the show is over, that doesn't mean I just stop whatever I'm doing and tell everyone great job. It fucking pissed me off. I can't shut my emotions off just because a script says we're done." He says, "But this is a microcosm of a larger issue I have with individuals, corporations, and governments telling us what we can or can't do. You have to do it this way. You have to say it that way, or you'll get canceled. They create fear if you have a different perspective and don't live by their rules. It's their way or no way. Fuck that. I say it the way I want to say it. I do it the way I want to do it. My choice, our choice. Mana out." Yo, I love The Rock. Yo, there's no fucks given Rock. He's putting his dick on the table. He's like, "I'm the biggest star in Hollywood. I'm the biggest star that walked through here. I'm gonna do blood. I'm gonna say fuck, and I don't give a shit what any of y'all say." You're muted, Krssi.
I'm here for it all. I love it. Good stuff. I mean, leave it all. I leave your schlong all on the table, friend. Everywhere.
No, Josh is not happy. He's not happy with this, Cody.
Yeah, it's okay. You know,
it's all right. It's all right. He's only got one more week. He's got to deal with this nonsense. And when Cody finishes this story, Josh is going to have the biggest celebration ever.
I'm just going to say what I've been saying for months. Fuck Dwayne Johnson.
That is fair. So what I wanted to ask y'all after bringing that up, it's a two-fold question. Do you think that a semblance of the Attitude Era is back with the use of blood, with the use of curse words, with CM Punk also using curse words on the show? You can see that maybe this is The Rock opening the door for other people who might not be a star on his level, but a star just below his level, like CM Punk. He can say the curse word. If CM Punk can say a curse word, a star just below his level, like Seth Rollins, can say a curse word. Like, it's like the domino effect. Do you think that this is kind of a new kind of awakening for this new Renaissance era, as Triple H is coining it, Krssi?
No, I don't think so. They're still gonna have to, like, it's not gonna get the era that we had. They'll try to get close, but I don't even think they're even trying to be honest. I think The Rock is the one pushing for it. I think the other ones wanted to be still more clean cut and, you know, cookie cutter. We just want to entertain you. BS. When a little blood ain't gonna kill nobody. I mean, if intentionally, like, you know.
it enhances stuff. This elevated the moment.
It made
with
the
Cody
moment
bleeding.
even better. And then he took the blood and he put it on the belt. Like, I mean, great stuff. Like,
loved it. Loved him wiping
Mama
the
Rhodes.
blood. Mama Rhodes, look at your boy. Look at your boy.
He should have went to Mama Rhodes' house. That would have been better.
Oh no! They already did a home invasion. This build up to WrestleMania. They did it on LA Night,
and they had a fight outside that, and it didn't really do that.
I mean, it helped that ice cold feud. I mean, anything would have helped at that point. But
maybe they go to, like we said, we should have went to the Nightmare Factory.
You could have done that. But I think they've done a great job. I'm not gonna say they need to do. So they could have would have should have done anything. I think they've done enough to make this a very hot, and the Cody story feels hotter than it did going into last year's WrestleMania. That's the other important thing, because that's what this WrestleMania is built off. It's built off The Rock and this final boss heel character, and Cody completing his story. And yeah, we're gonna see. This is going to be pressing the button of all these iconic themes of do, 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 and then glass shatter, and then it's just over and over again, just pressing the button. What do you think about the addition of curse words and blood to this red hot era for WWE, where they're doing all time business, they're doing great, good in the ratings, they're doing good. Every one of these TV shows has been sold out pretty much on the way to WrestleMania. What do you think this is going to add to the mix of this new Renaissance era, Josh? Oh, is Josh frozen? Is Josh frozen there? Are you frozen, Josh? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Oh, did we lose him again?
Now he's frozen for sure.
Oh, okay.
That solidified it. That one was like he was there, and then he just mid-word.
Well, we do have a super chat donation to read while Josh fixes what's going on over there. We got Bell with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Bell. Always appreciate you and love seeing you in the chat. He says, I more so think Roman is dropping the title because he's somehow third wheel in this whole thing, and he's WWE champion. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that Bell, you are correct on, love. For sure. He definitely became the third wheel on this date with Cody.
But that's not the reason why he's like that. That's the reason
why he's gonna lose.
Yeah. The reason you're saying that's the reason why you think he's gonna lose. But the reason why he's losing is because the fan chose Cody. That's it.
Well,
that's all it is. That's all it comes down to.
I should be good for now. I changed my Wi-Fi. I changed my Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
What was the question?
What do you think about the addition of blood and curse words to the Renaissance era, as Triple H is calling this era right now?
I mean, I don't mind it too much. I just think it's one of those things where, I mean, a lot of us curse. I curse every day of my life. So I don't mind it too much. It's just I prefer it in a situation where like it's needed, or like I just don't want a situation where it's just thrown in there. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean anything. I mean that. Honestly, that's actually how I kind of feel about movies. Like usually with movies where like people want violence in it, but then it's like if it doesn't mean anything, then I just don't want it. Like it's just not needed. That's how I kind of feel about WWE or their stuff. Like do it when it matters. Like a War Games match. I want to see violence in that. That should be bloody. That should mean something. When you're doing your ladder matches, that should mean something. Use your blood there too, because it's a fucking ladder match, right? You know what I mean? So I think in situations, I think that's where they should go a little bit more with, like, do it in situations where it should matter and it's needed. Something like this, it was needed for the segment because it meant something, and it was entertaining as fuck. But do I think it's something that's going to happen normally now? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen normally. I think they're going to push the boundaries a little bit more. We may see it more with Netflix, because even with Netflix, like, I don't know what's going to be the gist of that. Like, are they going to still rely on sponsors and all this stuff? And if so, then we're probably not going to see as much. Like, we're still not going to, we're going to see like settled, kind of like now, but it's not a normal thing.
No. I don't think so either. But when the segment needs it or when a match needs it, I do think that it is appropriate. I agree with Big Band Dogs who says the War Games matchups do look goofy when there's no blood. It always looks goofy in WWE. You're bashing each other's brains in with weapons, throwing them into the cage. No one bleeds. It's like, okay, I'm checked out. I'm checked out. Unless Io's got,
it doesn't make any sense.
Unless Io's guy's gonna throw a trash can on her head and jump off something, I'm checked out.
Yeah, like because even so, like even like when NXT, the Black and Gold brand, when they did like these hardcore matches and stuff like that, we never even got that from there. So it was like, you know, when you're doing matches like that, it's like, what now? All of a sudden we're supposed to believe nobody's gonna get cut or whatever the case may be. The only time they've shown blood is when somebody gets cut by mistake. So it's not even like a blading situation. But
and I hope we don't have situations like last year's Edge versus Finn Balor matchup where someone bleeds in fucking Hell in a Cell and we have to pause the fucking match for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, which is it's for me, it's kind of like a double-edged sword for me because like it's stupid that happened because it was Hell in a Cell. But when I saw the gash, like how big the gash was,
no. The gash, they should have checked on it, and they should have, but it just threw me
it took too long.
Yeah, it took too long.
It took too long.
And there's stuff you can like improvise and do more stuff that could have made that seem natural. Judgment Day has fucking 47 members. Why didn't one of them just jump into the fucking cage at the time that the doctors came in to check on his fucking cut? How about that? Damian Priest didn't do anything WrestleMania weekend. He could have jumped in and took some bumps.
They could have even used a butterfly band-aid. Just for temporarily until after the fact. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert in that, so I have no idea how that would work on my head because when you get cut in your head, it's staples. There's no stitches. It's fucking staples. But I do agree with situations like that. It was a little weird just because it was Hell in a Cell, and we were wondering too. We were like, what the fuck is going on? And then when you find out later on, Finn busted his head open in Hell in a Cell, and they were checking on him. Like, that alone sounds ridiculous. Like, you see how ridiculous that sounded, right? Yeah. But, I mean, situations like that, like, but again, when it comes to color itself, I want it to be in the situations where it matters. I don't think they should do it all the time, but when it matters, like that segment mattered to me at least. And then Cody, I think Cody low-key in a while has been wanting to blade. Because remember, I know for a fact he's axed before. Yeah, and they told him no. Yeah, because he always does that. Because remember, his ROH
coming over here, they're not gonna allow him to do those type of things. Like he wants to put on a certain type of match.
No, I think he knows. I think he knows. But then at the same time, I mean, Cody does have that pull that he was like, maybe he could get away with it. Like that's how they were catering to Cody because at that time. Cody was, when they signed him, like it mattered. Like they kept his brand and everything. So he did kind of have a say. But then also in his contracts, like he was using pro wrestling and all that stuff that was like the banned words, he was using it. So he did have some pull. So I kind of understand why he would ask, but I mean, it's The Rock. I mean,
Rock was the one that got this through for sure.
Yeah.
Dolores, you have to realize that Bloodsport is not like traditional pro wrestling, where traditional pro wrestling, if you want blood or you promote blood, you just have someone blade. They don't allow blading. They don't even allow you to hit your hip on kicks in Bloodsport. Bloodsport is MMA. It's basically wrestlers in MMA matches. That's what you're getting. And Bloodsport is always been traditionally that. It's been more of like mixed martial arts or karate. A lot of Bloodsport fights, like Bloodsport, before it got into pro wrestling, it had fights that did not have blood. It's okay.
Yeah, it's more of just like a battle thing. Yeah, it's more of homage, like the movies and all that stuff. It was like that.
Mm-hmm. We got another super chat donation from Big Hero Chris. Go out of your way. Check out Big Hero Chris's social media. He got a nice little video where he edited the Rock Cody assault and he put the beat to "Look at Me Now." Because it's Rock and it's Rock keep saying look at your boy. Look at your boy.
I love it.
Look at you. So great job by that. Huh?
That's I hate it. I'm not watching it.
No, Jesus. Monday's WWE Raw episode, like we said, had the segment with CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. This led to Punk being announced as the guest commentator for the world title matchup at WrestleMania 40, where Rollins will defend against McIntyre. The segment felt more authentic and distinct compared to recent segments. During the exchange, they traded jabs at each other with a more improvised feel to it. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, the company mentioned that there was a general outline of the direction they were supposed to take instead of following a scripted dialogue word for word. The talent was given the freedom to express themselves and see how it unfolds. This promo segment was produced by Adam Pearce. It was mentioned in the report that WWE production was caught off guard by Punk's use of profanity after a memo was sent out to discourage swearing on air. Despite this, there were no reported issues backstage following the promos. But like I said, I really enjoyed this segment. I like the improvised feel to it. But I mean, if you're CM Punk, you got to be in heaven. This is everything he ever wanted from WWE. More scripted freedom, more creative freedom in WWE to be out there and play off the crowd and go off the moment and have more promos that sounded like people actually arguing that are upset with each other instead of very scripted wrestler speak. That's what that promo came across with. I felt like probably if you're CM Punk, you're the happiest person in the world coming out of Monday.
I mean, with CM Punk, he's never happy, so who knows?
He was not happy to start the segment. Let's be honest. He was not. He was bitter because he's been sitting on the couch at home.
Right, yeah.
That's how that works. Yeah, we got Annika who said you could tell Punk and Drew were having fun in this segment. The smirk that was on Drew McIntyre's face when Punk said, "Who chose you? Say his name. Go on, say his name." Drew looked at him with a smirk like, "You got me, you motherfucker."
Yeah.
You got me. That is one name that can't be said. It was revealed on Wrestling Observer Radio this week that Vince McMahon is on the do not mention list. He is now Voldemort.
Not Voldemort, really?
Voldemort. Can't say his name. Can't say Voldemort's name.
That's how you know it was actually over for Vince.
Yeah.
He won the ban list of words. That's how you know he definitely covered.
Yo, they treating you like you used to treat TNA.
Oh shit!
No,
can't say that name on air.
TNA mentioned in fucking January. What does that tell you? What does that mean?
According to a report by PW Insider, more about Drew McIntyre here. WWE World Heavyweight Championship contender Drew McIntyre is still not have a new contract heading into WrestleMania. McIntyre has recently spoken openly about his contract negotiations heading into the event. Per the latest update from PW Insider Elite, those close to McIntyre say he and WWE have not yet reached a new agreement for a contract extension, despite McIntyre playing a high-profile role heading into his title bout at WrestleMania 40. While many are reportedly under the assumption that both sides will hash it out and a new deal will be made, nothing is currently set in stone. And McIntyre's title match at WrestleMania is now mere days away. Also, McIntyre's decision will reportedly be influenced by what he feels is best for his family. McIntyre and his wife currently reside in the U.S., but much of his family still live in Scotland, and he's only seen them sparingly throughout his career. It's been previously reported that McIntyre's current contract expires after WrestleMania 40. At the event, he once again will challenge Seth Rollins, but CM Punk, his current on-screen rival, will be on commentary. Do you guys think what percentage are you putting at it now? Tru Heel Heat 270. What is it? March 20 something. March 30th, 2024. What percentage are you putting on Drew McIntyre re-signing with WWE after WrestleMania?
50.
1 through 100. You're putting it 50-50. Wow. Interesting. What about you, Josh?
I'm gonna go 60-40. I think he resigns. I think he ends up resigning It's just it's a little. I mean, this is just Drew's way of building up leverage, but it's getting close to the finish line. They usually don't take. It's usually not like this late in the game before they re-signed.
True.
And his case is this has been going on for like almost a year and a half, and it seems like they haven't even gotten close. At least as far as we know. So it's kind of. I mean, it could be anything. It can be here or there, but I think it's like I'm gonna go 60-40 just because of the length of like how long it's been going.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 70-30. The 30% is a strong 30% because of the information that we just read out about him wanting to be close to his family in Scotland. Like the place that he would need to go to do that is AEW. If he wants to be next to it, if he wants to be close to his family, or even have sporadic trips to Scotland, he's not going to be able to do that in WWE. He can think that he's going to be able to do that, but
it's not happening.
don't see that. You're not Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, sir. You're not Brock Lesnar. No matter how well you've worked in this contract year, you've had a great contract year. You've earned your next contract for sure. They're gonna have to give you a contract with about 7 of them zeros on it. About 7.
Yeah.
No, 6 or 7 zeros on it. At the very least 6.
Yeah, because the thing too is that what I worry,
at least 6 zeros on it.
Yeah, like what I worry about Drew a little bit too is that when he resigns, right? When he resigns with the company, like the stuff that he's doing now is great, but it's not going to last. You know what I mean? Like the way that it's not going to last. Like people could be certain gimmicks and be certain characters for a long time. I just don't think that this is one of them, because again, like his gimmick is more of like in the moment kind of things, where it's like, yeah, all the stuff with Punk is funny, but then once you get that out, it's like you can't do it again. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the best move for him, as far as like with the Punk thing, is they should play up the whole contract thing. Since he's now saying it in interviews, they should play it up. Where I think we had this suggestion in Rated Raw review in the comment section, and I've loved it ever since I heard it. Is that Drew has his own Summer of Punk and says that he's going to walk out the company with the World Heavyweight Championship, and CM Punk has to return to save the title for the company.
It's something like
at
that
at SummerSlam. That's the big matchup at SummerSlam. Punk can win there, and then it leads to Punk and Seth at next year's WrestleMania. What you drew with Drew after that, you can throw him. Now he's like an established heel who's been the world champion. You could throw him, and he could be another great guy to feud with Cody over the Universal and WWE title. So I think he's good. He's good for he set himself up with so good with his character work going into WrestleMania that coming out, if he's world heavyweight champion, I have no doubts that there's going to be plenty for him to do, and he's going to be entertaining doing it.
I mean, I would hope so. That's just the thing. Like, I would hope so, just because like the kind of gimmick that he's doing, again, it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's good in the moment kind of gimmicks where again, like where he's doing certain things, and then but once he blows that load, it's gone. You can't really do it again, because it's not going to mean the same. But that's more of just like the creative side. It was like, all right, if he resigns, what's going to end up happening? But that's just more like that's even if that happens, like even if he resign. Which I mean, again, I think he's going to resign. It's just a matter of like if they give him that giant check, he's going to take it no matter what. It's
of course. I mean, the right decision for him though is to hear what AEW is offering.
Yeah,
that's the best decision for him. And Belle, we said this like multiple times, multiple different shows. She says, why are they building up a match with CM Punk for the earliest SummerSlam then? Because they're working under the assumption that he's going to re-sign. And whether you think that's a good decision or not, then that's a different story. But that's the reason why.
Yeah, which we've been saying for a while. It's like it's been great stuff, but then it's like a lot of people do forget that aspect. Like, his contract expires right at, around after Mania, and I was like, the time that Punk is supposed to come back, Drew might be gone. So I was like, they're taking a risk. But I think this is WWE's way of having their leverage, having their like, hey, you stay, hey, we're putting you in these great feuds, these great matches, and
That's not the case.
which is like, well, yeah. I mean, but I'm saying like, but in hindsight, that's the way they think.
Yeah,
and that's usually how they negotiate contracts. Like they talk about, like, oh, we're gonna leave you on the top. You're gonna be the top person. We're gonna give you this title. All right. What do we get in return? Usually that's how WWE always does their negotiations, which I'm saying is good or bad, but I've gotten used to WWE so long that that's how they fucking do their fucking negotiation. That's why he's getting the title match at WrestleMania.
That's why CM Punk was in the freaking WWE Championship matchup at Money in the Bank 2011 on the day of he was not signed to a contract before he got to the building. It's pretty obvious how WWE thinks. We got to stop asking the why of why they think this way. That's just how they think. We can't, sometimes you can't even explain it. That's how they think. And we've seen the retrospect of that with New Japan, because New Japan went on the assumption, oh, Ospreay and Okada gonna resign. And then it turned bully up on their asses. So we've seen how that way of thinking can turn back on you.
And Tama, maybe they assumed Tama was going to stay and give him the title, and then all of a sudden, when he wins the title, this is going to be my last run with New Japan.
Exactly. Last night, you had Friday Night Smackdown. No Rock, no Roman, no Cody, no Seth. I was like, sheesh, I don't need to watch this show. This was a very inconsequential show, but the main thing about this show was the show featured the official blue brand debut of former AEW TBS champion Jade Cargill, who got a superstar entrance with Storm aesthetics and gave a mission statement for herself. Later in the night, you had Bianca Belair. She defeated the Damage Control's Dakota Kai in a good main event matchup, the best matchup that Dakota has had since her return. Post-match, Damage Control jumped Bianca and Naomi, who came out for the save. However, it was the real save came from Miss Jade Cargill, who returned with a full costume change, like she was Taylor Swift, Michael Jackson, or Mercedes Moné at Big Business to make the save, laying waste to all three members of Damage Control in impressive fashion, and standing tall with Belair and Naomi to close the show. It then was announced on social media that it will be Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi versus Damage Control in a trios matchup coming up at WrestleMania 40. Speaking of Damage Control, though, you had Io Sky, the WWE Women's Champion, finally give her own speech, her own promo, a really good one in Japanese, explaining the history of Damage Control and her past with Bayley, as well as why she needed to turn on her. This led to Bayley brawling with Io at the interview area at the PC and being pulled apart by production staff. A step in the right direction, but maybe a step too late. The Bloodline explained that the Rock's attack was by the orders of the Tribal Chief, and announced that Solo Sikoa will face Jey Uso on WrestleMania SmackDown next Friday. Then you also had AJ Styles respond to LA Knight's home invasion last week. He was trying to avoid LA Knight at all costs. This led to LA Knight in disguise jumping AJ Styles and cutting a heated promo. Once again, a good segment between this one. This was an ice cold feud, but I think that it's now at least hotter than Jay versus Jimmy. Anyway, Logan Paul cost both Kevin Owens and Randy Orton a tag team matchup against Pretty Deadly. He tried to hide, but Orton found him. This led to Pretty Deadly helping out Logan Paul, but they got an RKO and a stunner in return, leading to Orton and KO chasing Logan Paul, who stole a car to escape. A-Town Down Under, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory qualified for the WrestleMania six-pack ladder match by beating the Street Profits thanks to interference from the Final Testament. They attacked the Profits and Bobby Lashley after the matchup. In our second qualifying matchup, it was New Catch Republic defeating Legado del Fantasma in a fun little matchup here. This followed Legado being involved in the segment before this, where Santos and Legado thanked Dominic Mysterio for last week helping him beat Rey Mysterio. This led to Rey and the LWO having a Latino Civil War standoff with the Legado del Fantasma, where Ray challenged Santos and Dirty Dom to a tag team matchup against him and a partner of his choice, and that choice would be the newest member of the LWO, Dragon Lee, which seemed to confuse everyone else of the LWO because they were like, where did this guy fucking come from?
Just add another person to get buried in another group. Great.
I want to say thank you to WWE for last night's SmackDown, because with not having Rock, Roman, or Cody on the show, it made me realize all the flaws of the WrestleMania build.
Oh shit! Oh shit! It went like oh shit!
I mean, he's not lying though. Like
there's no Rock, no Roman, no Cody, no Seth, no Drew, no Rhea, no Becky. Ugh. This is rough. Like, if it wasn't for Jade, this would have been the worst episode of SmackDown I've seen in quite some time.
This would have been a dud. This would have been a dud of a SmackDown.
And again, like, this just goes to show you, like, they care about one show. One show. So it's
SmackDown been getting the short end of the stick ever since we ended the Rock consecutive streak. Once Rock left the show last week, we had that dud Cody and Roman segment. And then this week, there was nothing involved in the bloodline other than them arriving at the building to start the show. And literally all they did on the show was talk for a minute in their locker room. I was like, y'all traveled here for that?
Yep. They sure did.
Wasted time.
Anything you want to say about last night's show? What did you think about Jade Cargill's official debut on the SmackDown roster? Krssi.
Oh, okay. I want to say who are you speaking with? Little too late, but hey, sure. She's been around since I don't know how long, and now we want to like showcase her. I guess this is the way to showcase her, to have her with two strong girls to help out. But I think Mercedes had the better intro. Sorry.
I mean, I will say my biggest nitpick of the debut was that promo was trash. That was one of that promo. I literally saw the words, it felt like she was reading from a teleprompter. How generic that promo was. The storm has arrived, and we have many great, talented women on the roster. But now Jade Cargill's here, and the storm has arrived.
And then when she came out to help save them, like she walked out there like, girl, you don't see them getting beat up? Like, you just like...
I know. That's why I said that was my one big nitpick, because I love the way she came out. She came out, she really did not care.
She's like, girl, like, she did Jeff Hardy. Like, you don't see your brother, you don't see the sisters getting messed up over there. You just like you just came, just walked in and just strutted and just took your time. Okay, sure. The poor Street Profits are being buried. I'm sorry, like them and Bobby Lashley, they're shelved. Like no one cares about that feud. Like no one cared about it a long time ago, and they're probably gonna give us a match for that too next week on Friday.
What?
I think the Street Profits should have been in that.
I think they're doing Street Business versus Final Testament at WrestleMania.
Oh, they're gonna do it at WrestleMania? Okay.
Because they didn't announce it. They announced the lineup for WrestleMania SmackDown. They got the Andre. They got Jay versus Solo. They got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory versus New Catch Republic. So they announced like a bunch of matches, a bunch of stuff. They got the KO show with Randy Orton. So yeah, they announced a bunch of stuff for next week's WrestleMania SmackDown, and I would think that they would have announced Bobby Lashley and Street Profits versus Final Testament if it was going to be there. But they also had the report earlier this week, I think it was PW Insider, that said we're at least getting 3 more matches for WrestleMania. So we got 2 of them here with the 6-man tag, and the 6-pack challenge is now complete. We know the teams that's in that. And then there was one other match I think they named on this show outside of the 6-woman tag. The tag team match with Ray and Dragon Lee versus Dirty Dom and Santos. So there's at least one more match to be made, and I don't see it on Raw. It's obviously the street business versus Final Testament. But honestly, I think they would be adding that to the WrestleMania card to help out Jimmy and Jay, so they're not the coldest feud going into the show.
Yeah, because it definitely is a cold feud.
But definitely Final Testament versus Street Business is colder if that's on the WrestleMania card.
Correct.
No one gives a fuck about that rivalry, WWE. Like you have put in minimal effort, Paul Levesque, into this rivalry. You have had Street Profits and Bobby Lashley together for nearly a fucking year and haven't even cared to give them a fucking name. And you expect me to care that they're gonna have a match at WrestleMania? This is 2 years in a row that you have just shitted on Bobby Lashley as far as caring about whether he has a damn match of value for him being a 2-time former WWE champion on WrestleMania. He's still over with the crowd. He's literally the only person over in this fucking feud because no one cares about dollar value ministry. And no one care, and they care less about the Street Profits after you change their music to this trash Death Rebel shit.
I have nothing to say because you're correct, sir. It's all true.
It's sad. Bobby Lashley deserved better, and I agree with you. I had the Street Profits winning last night because I was like, Street Profits, of course, obviously they should be in the tag team title match.
Out of all of the people that's in it, you need someone besides
Awesome Truth.
Thank you. You need
awesome. It's Awesome Truth versus Judgment Day. That's basically what it is. They just got 4 extra teams are getting a paycheck.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. So you're building up. You're putting horrible teams that are not even teams together for those two to win. Great, just to lose it probably like 2 weeks later.
RP Jesus says so. Jay spent all those months in the PC just to learn how to point to a sign.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Yes. Yeah. I said the Dre for WrestleMania SmackDown. I said that. Yes. I'm sorry. No one cares about Street Profits and Bobby Lashley versus Final Testament. I am sorry.
No one been cared. And like you said, Bobby's been over. They don't put him in even like nowhere near anything mostly important. Yeah, you couldn't tell me that the Street Profits was not winning tomorrow. Why do we need Grayson and Austin? They don't need to be a part of this whole thing. One big tag team. You would think the Street Profits would. We didn't even need a New Day in this. I would have taken a New Day and put Street Profits in this.
I like the New Day. Where's Imperium? Why didn't Imperium even get a qualifying matchup? Did someone from Imperium get hurt?
You're right.
I asked that question on social media. I don't think anybody answered me yet, but we'll see. I think maybe Kaiser's injured. I don't know. But yeah, I think they're gonna add that matchup, but I don't think they're gonna have a 4th women's match. I think that the Black Girl Magic versus Damage Control is the final women's match. What do y'all think?
Same. And also, what other women's match would you add? I just don't want them to add another match, just throw it in, just to say, hey, another women's match. There's nothing going on. You're gonna throw in Candice versus Maxine? I don't want to see that shit.
Oh, don't make me puke. I
don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that.
But it's like, I'm like, if people want to name drop people. Oh, this person's not gonna be on this. I was like, it is what it is. WrestleMania season, I tell people all the time, I'm like, ages ago, not everybody gets on the card. And the problem with these long-winded shows was that they tried to put everybody in the card, even people they weren't even using for the year.
Yep.
But yeah, they wanted them to have their moment. And I think now it's at a point that with WrestleMania, I don't think everybody's needed. As fucked up that might sound, not everybody's needed. You go with the hottest feuds, you go with what's going on, you go with that. Like for WrestleMania, and even those 2 nights, that's where you go with.
I agree with that. But let's talk more about CM Punk, because during his segment on Raw, he mentioned Roman Reigns' recent comments about him in an interview with Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show. Roman Reigns spoke about enjoying his spot at the top of WWE, and he took some time to take a shot at old CM Punk at the same time. He says, "I'm living my dream, man. This is what I wanted my whole life. So I'm not one of the people that once I got there, it just wasn't what I expected. I'm not like CM Punk, where I got to the top of the mountain and it's like, oh, it's not what I expect, so I'm a bitch about it. No, once you reach your goals, enjoy the dream. This is what you've been working for, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just obsessed with continuing to progress, so I know there's another level. I know there's more I can do, so I don't like to get satisfied or comfortable with the current level that I'm on." Speaking of Roman Reigns, he was in the headlines as well earlier this week, as there will be a new episode of A&E's biography, WWE Legends, that debuts this coming Sunday, tomorrow night on A&E, highlighting the career of the current undisputed WWE Universal Champion. WWE also confirmed that this weekend's episode on Reigns was directed and executive produced by the wise man of the bloodline, Paul Heyman. Reigns said on his episode, "I wanted the most authentic documentary in the history of the hashtag WWE on A&E. The wise man was the only one who could do this story the justice it deserves. There's so much more about me that I've never discussed in public before. This is the true story of Joe Anai and Roman Reigns." The new episode debuts tomorrow night on A&E at 8 p.m.
Did they do
Eastern
Roman
time.
though?
No,
they never did. Okay.
No.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to apologize to me. They just never did.
I could have sworn like some of these stars, like didn't we do some of these, or wasn't this all on the network and they just showing it now on TV? Like I feel like no?
A&E just started doing current stars. Like remember, A&E started off with Legends. That's why it's called WWE Legends. Like they didn't do current stars.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Rhea Ripley went viral over the weekend after a particular spot on a house show. She did at a recent house show. CM Punk was on top of it as well, as he shared the video. A video circulated on Twitter, which Ripley later shared, that shows her giving Nia Jax a stink face. In a post on his Instagram story, Punk reacted to the clip and made a joke complete with Photoshop pic of himself and Cody Rhodes kissing. He says, "I see what Rhea Ripley been doing on house shows, and I'm prepared to raise the bar." Also, her AEW star and Rhea Ripley's fiance, Buddy Matthews, says that that's what Rhea does to him every single night.
I love it. I love the trolling. It's great stuff.
And there's the Punk and Cody shipping each other. There you go. Here you go, folks. Enjoy.
People, fans acting like they've never seen ass before. That's how
people are horny. People are horny,
yes.
And they proved that they were horny this week.
It's like, man, if that gets you horny, you have a very low bar that sets your standards. I'll say that much.
Hey, man, Lethal Interjection made a famous song. It was called "Booty Booty Butt Cheeks." Booty Booty Butt Cheeks. Booty Booty Butt Cheeks. We got a super chat donation from Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries. He says WWE may be trying to erase those that bitch show promos from Jade's memory. I'm not sure what that meant. Bitch show. Oh yeah. She was relying on saying the word bitch at the end of her promos a little too much in AEW. So there's like, we're gonna reprogram you and we're gonna put our best promos, scripted promos inside of you so you can reiterate them.
Yeah, you know what it is too with Jade. I think Jade always kind of had that approach too with when she was in AEW promos, where it kind of did feel like she was reading the script, but then she'll add like her own thing, like Tony, cut the shit, or like on that, like. So this is nothing like the presentation I thought of Jade. The entrance was great, fantastic. they presented her well. I would hope so for as long as they've been keeping her on ice for, like, this is the way that you bring her in. But to me, all that stuff doesn't really matter to me. It's going to matter of what she does in her promos and what she does in the ring. Because again, it's all about, people talk about it's all about presentation. But if she's doing the same stuff that she did in AEW and WWE, then, you know, to me, that's going to be another layer of an issue of like, well, this is what you've seen before from her, you know? And the whole idea of saying like, oh, we want her to be ready. And, you know, he took that shot at AEW. If we're getting the same thing from Jake, then to me, it's like, okay, well, I'm waiting for this new look, this new person. Like, you know, where is it? You know, and that's how I'm feeling as a fan when it comes to Jade.
I will say Jade looked like she cut down on some weight a little bit. Her body seemed like she was a little bit even more toned than the last time I saw.
I noticed that too. Like, yeah. So she's been getting in great shape, which is nothing, you know, nothing new for her. She's a fucking superhero.
She's used to like always getting in the gym and like looking, but yeah, she's more bulked up. I think she's had more time to just like just think about that portion of like how the presentation of how she looks and be in the gym. And I think that's why it looks like that right now.
Power Driver Finisher says, I see her as how they present her. I think the final piece is the actual wrestling. Other than that, she carries herself well. I said it last night on the SmackDown review on Sportskeeda. I was like, Jade has A+ look. She has A+ look. She has that kind of Goldberg-esque charisma of not like she talks or she has this character or something that has charisma. No. Just you see her, and that's charisma. That's aura. She has a certain it factor to her once you see her, like Goldberg had back in the day. She has that, but everything else is very much green. Her promo style, her promos are green. Her in-ring work is green. It's all about putting together that other stuff. She has the charisma. She has the look. You just need something else.
Yeah,
and I think that, and I think so far the way that she's being presented or a brand perception of Jade is that's going to get away for a while. Like her look and everything, that's going to carry her for a while. But then I think depending on where she goes with, what kind of feuds she feuds with, kind of people she works with, all that shit's going to start getting exposed a little bit if there's no real improvement when it comes to all that stuff.
So, as previously reported last week, Ronda Rousey took several shots at WWE in her latest book, Our Fight, and did so again in interviews to promote the book. In an interview with the MMA Hour, Becky Lynch spoke about Rousey's comments and said she believes Rousey was mishandled by WWE Creative, which is not always great. She said on Rousey's comments about WWE, she says, I have a very different view and a very different experience of WWE. I always wanted to do this. This is what I always wanted to do. I love this. And is it perfect? No, nothing is. On WWE Creative, she says stuff like the creative, no, it's not always great. There's been a history of it not making sense to me, but nobody's personally going, how do we make Becky Lynch look awful? But they have so much going on. There is so much going on. And the fact that we pull everything off the way we do, and even at a time when notoriously the shows were getting rewritten as we were going live on TV, and we still go get them done, and we still went out there and we still hit our times and we still made the show work. And no, it was not always great, but a lot of it was all doing the best we can. On Rousey's WWE run, she says she was coming off a different industry and she was a star and she could have been handled differently in terms of, I think she had such a great first outing that everybody thought, oh, she can wrestle. I mean this with respect, but she couldn't wrestle. What we do isn't something that you can just have one good match and then, okay, yeah, I'm off to the races. It's a craft, and you have to learn your craft, and you have to be diligent about learning your craft. But everybody treated Ronda like she already knew it because when she first came in, she was good in that first bout. But she's also working with Kurt Angle. She's working with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. It was a well-rehearsed because everybody wanted her to succeed. And then it was, okay, she can do this, off to the races. And that was mishandling her because she was a star in her own right, and she's done so much for MMA. So I agree with Becky 100%. You could go back to 2018. I was doing this podcast. It's on the channel. And I questioned Ronda's second match being for the championship against Nia Jax. I was like, how do you give her from Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon? You have to work. She had to work months on that matchup. From Royal Rumble, she comes in to work on that matchup for 2 months and then do the matchup at WrestleMania, then turn around 2 months later and say, we're going to give you Nia Jax, who was injuring people at the time. That didn't make any sense.
They were only concerned about selling tickets and having people watch the show. That's all they were concerned about. They didn't care how they would get there or how. They were just going to put the belt on her, and that was it. We had these conversations. I was like, they're doing a disservice for this. Like, it's too soon. Like, but hey, what do we know? We only watch the product, and we can only tell you what the product is giving us. And you don't want to listen to us, then no problem.
Yeah, pretty much how that works. Any thoughts, Josh?
No, I mean, what she said, there was a lot of it that she was right. But also, I mean, one thing I would like to point out has nothing to do with what she said about Ronda, but more so in the retrospect of experiences. We all are not going to have the same experiences. I think, Ronda had her experience, and it sounded like it ended up being rough. But it doesn't mean that the next person is going to have that experience. So, like, when somebody tells their stories, I think I don't want them to go into a situation where it's like, oh, this person is bitter, or they're upset. Again, everybody's story is different. Everybody has different experiences, and I think that's also important to know that. Like, when people were saying like, oh, Ronda's the wrong person to maybe speak up about things. No, I think she was the right person because she had that experience. And then now,
and you remember, we both went in on the chat for saying that stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna. Oh no, it's the right message, but the wrong person. No, that's not how that works. There's no, you can't choose who the wrong or right person is for the right message. You just have to take the message.
Yeah. So like when it comes to like, what Becky pointed out, I think that's a good thing that people should recognize as well. Like, Becky's experiences is not what Ronda's experiences is. But then also Becky was in a situation where she had to really claw her way up to the top. So it's a different scenario. When Ronda got there, she was given all the reins. Rightly so, in my opinion. She was she was a star in her own way. Some people might not agree with that because of the whole, wrestling thing. Like, oh, she wasn't a wrestler. You have to earn your way. Some people have different paths. The Rock got in because of his father. He wasn't an indie guy. And look at where he's at now. So there's people who have different paths, different roads, and that was the main thing I got out of that. But Becky she didn't say anything wrong. She didn't say nothing out of pocket. She was very honest, very upfront.
Also on the MMA Hour, she talked about Seth Rollins' reaction to CM Punk's return at Survivor Series last year. Becky said, I was in Gorilla and there was a fist pound, and then my husband was going crazy by the ring. Then the producers on the headset are going, Seth is freaking out, and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be a rough night. Lynch also said on not feeling disrespected on Seth, on her not feeling disrespected on being out of the loop about Punk and Rollins' reaction. She said, no, I believe the deal happened very late. As far as I know, I believe the deal happened very late. And sometimes the tiredness hits and the deal happened late, and then he had a match and he was working on his match all day. He felt disrespected. We think of ourselves. We are the universe. Everybody, nobody is going, I want to disrespect you. We may feel disrespected, but nobody is intentionally going, let me disrespect this person. Consideration should be taken into account, and you should have told your top stars, of course, but nobody is going out there going, how do I disrespect my top stars, my world champion? How do I disrespect him? Nobody is thinking that. So she gave a little bit more insight on what went down between Seth and Punk, and appreciate the effort, Becky. I still don't believe you. I completely think that Seth knew and that he was just working. But anyway, finish off WWE. Finish up.
Don't get worked, Becky.
Finish off WWE this week. WWE NXT. You had the show featured the excellent Prime Target series returning for the Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes main event matchup for NXT Stand and Deliver, showing how both men are getting ready for the big matchup coming up. They will have a final face-off coming up on NXT this coming week. Meanwhile, Ilya Dragunov got the win over Stacks ahead of his matchup against Tony D'Angelo at NXT Stand and Deliver. Dijak beat Sean Spears in a very good opener to the match, to the show. Meanwhile, Josh Briggs beat Duke Hudson. Post-match, Obafemi announced that he will defend the NXT North American title against Dijak and Briggs at Stand and Deliver. You also had Natalya make her return to NXT to the Black and Gold brand. She answered the open challenge by Lola Vice, getting a win over her. Meanwhile, the Wolf Dogs defeated Alpha Academy in a really good main event to the show. But like I said, the Prime Target was the main thing on the show, building up what has been announced as the main event for Stand and Deliver between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. And it feels like this is going to be the farewell for Carmelo Hayes, as Carmelo Hayes seems like he is heading to the WWE main roster monetarily pretty soon, it seems, according to a new report. Hayes has been a standout on the NXT brand and is currently in the midst of a heated rivalry with his former best friend Trick Williams, which will culminate in a matchup at NXT Stand and Deliver. Fightful Select reports that according to NXT sources, the match between the two will main event the show, and it may be the farewell for Hayes and Williams. Officials are pushing for Hayes and Williams to main event, and Shawn Michaels has been very hands-on on their storyline, and he did announce on the conference call this week that it will headline the show. In regards to main roster plans, the site notes that according to a source, Hayes is set to be on the main roster and get a call-up in the summer. He has been set to move up ever since before the Royal Rumble. As to Trick Williams, officials have noticed the reaction that he has gotten in recent appearances on the main roster, especially on SmackDown back in January. And there have been some pitches to have Williams and Hayes continue their rivalry on the main roster, but it's not clear whether that such a thing will happen as of yet. What do you think about Carmelo Hayes, and what brand do you think Carmelo Hayes should get called up to on the main roster, Krssi?
That's hard. I think I don't know why I see him going to SmackDown for whatever reason, but I
think you see him on SmackDown because he was on SmackDown.
Well,
before the rivalry started.
Well, yeah, that too. But I think that he'll get lost in the shuffle on Raw.
That's fair.
It's too many guys that's there on Raw. So he is needed on SmackDown, but they don't even really care about SmackDown. So I'm sad that I don't want him to get lost and just be in catering, and probably be put with Bobby Lashley or something. I don't know,
You love that. I love that. It's like all these black people are going to be in catering on SmackDown. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Black man created this damn show. What are we doing?
That part.
What are we doing, yo? What are we doing? We got Nate Milton. It says, "Be real, fam. What black stable are they gonna throw Mello into? Maybe it's DIY versus DEI at SummerSlam." Damn, mate. You really had to say that in the chat? Really had to say that, dog? Final note from WWE this week. They got a new show premiering this week on X/Twitter. It is going to be WWE Speed, which debuts this coming Wednesday with a tournament to crown the first ever Speed champion. WWE announced on his Twitter account that the show will feature 3-minute time limit matches and will premiere on April 2nd on the platform, with the winner of the tournament to crown the first ever Speed champion. WWE announced the Twitter-specific show back in the start of February and has been taping matches for the show at some episodes of Smackdown in recent weeks. So, WWE Speed Champion. Are you excited for the new title, the new show, Josh?
No.
I figured that was your answer. That's why I went to you.
I think it's something they just put like all the cruiserweights, so the high flying people, and they want people to just to watch that, but it's not going to go.
3 fucking minutes? Like, what is this? The Goldberg?
It's not going to be a good match. You can't have a good match in 3 minutes.
No,
like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I was okay with. They originally said it was 5 minutes. I was okay with that, but 3 minutes, that's way too short.
Yeah, that's 3 minutes. Like I don't know what the fuck they're doing. And then you have a championship. The fuck is the what? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
All right, let's go over to the con. Let's go over to the converse.
Yes,
AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite this week. The show did not do very well in the ratings. It did the lowest viewership since 2020. Their lowest demo rating since 2021. It did 747,000 viewers, a 0.23 in the 18 to 49 demo for what I thought was a pretty good show. The show featured Swerve Strickland defeating Konosuke Takeshita in what was a tremendous main event matchup to become the number one contender for the AEW World title. He will now face Samoa Joe for the gold on Sunday, April 12th at AEW Dynasty. Speaking of number one contenders, you had Willow Nightingale pull up the win over Chris Statlander, Anna Jay, and Sky Blue in a good fatal four-way matchup to advance to face Julia Hart for the AEW THH Championship at AEW Dynasty, with Mercedes Moné on commentary looking on. Who, me?
Yeah, your
my mic. Can you hear me now? Oh,
I can hear you. You're doing the choppy. It's going in and out.
Oh, it's going in and out. So let me unplug or change my mic here. How
do I sound now? How do I sound now?
That's great.
Can y'all hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mercedes was looking on commentary post-match. Julia Hart attacked Willow before staring down with Mercedes herself. The Young Bucks you had the Young Bucks get the victory over Private Party in a really fun tag team matchup with a botched finish, unfortunately. Meanwhile, you had Best Friends defeat the Undisputed Kingdom in a pretty decent match for both the Bucks and OC and Trent Beretta to advance to next week's semifinals as they will face in the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament. And then finally, Will Ospreay defeated Katsuyori Shibata in an excellent, hard-hitting opener to the show, as well as he proved he can do whatever Bryan Danielson can do better. Krssi Love, what did you think about this week's AEW Dynamite?
I enjoyed this week's episode. I think it was solid. I mean, Swerve was so good, and him and Takeshita, like, they killed it. I loved it. I was like, damn, Takeshita is like the GOAT right now. Like, he's just giving bangers. He's not winning all of them, but he's still a GOAT and he's winning. In heart, like, cause he's still making everyone look good. So I'm loving that. My blue Ospreay, like, no brainer. Like, come on. Like, what are we saying? But overall, solid show. I thought Mercedes looked like trash this week. I'm sorry. She didn't look like money. This outfit was garbage. Throw it in the trash. I'm sorry. That's all I gotta say. Oh, did he leave?
Oh. I think he's probably.
What did you think about it, Josh? How'd you feel?
I mean, I enjoyed Dynamite. I thought it was a great episode. Great opener, great main event.
Yeah.
The women's match was great too.
Yes.
The tag match. Oh, that was great. It was way better than I expected it to be.
Their women's matches are getting much better weekly, I feel like.
Yeah, and then the Mercedes, I think it was just more the same that she did last week. That's what it was. I was like, all right, what are we doing now? But
we can't hear you.
I don't know. Oh, we can't hear
we can't hear you.
I thought it was me. I was like, oh shit, what's my mic? I was like,
I guess my mic is totally fucked now. I don't know.
Okay, there you go.
I tried to switch to my mic, but apparently you couldn't hear me. No, what I was gonna say was last week was the same as was more of the same.
Oh,
This week they at least tried to put her on commentary, but I mean, we're 3 weeks in, and I think it's safe to say that Mercedes has had the worst of the 3 debuts between her, Okada, and Ospreay.
I mean,
yeah, because you're not even doing nothing. Yeah, because I mean, right now, I mean, I don't know. When it comes, I get what they're doing, just because like when it comes to Ospreay and Okada, they're both workers, right?
Yeah.
So you use their strong points to what they're great at. With Mercedes, her strong point is just more of her star power. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, I get what they're doing. It's just more funny because like when I was looking online and like they were talking about like, oh, when are we gonna get a Mercedes match? We keep waiting. It's like, bro, it's been 3 fucking weeks.
Right, she literally just got there though. Like,
honestly, I think that you're wrong, Josh. That you said her strong point is her star power. I think that's what AEW thinks, but it's not. It's her wrestling. It is her. No. That's how she became a star. It's her wrestling.
Yeah. What I'm saying, but in retrospect, compared to the 3, like that's the strongest out of the 3 when it comes to the presentation of what they think is going to matter on TV, right? Because she was on WWE TV, so more people are more familiar with her. That's more so I was going with. But it's just more funny that now that people are like waiting for her to wrestle, and it's just like when I mentioned to somebody, they kind of like backtracked when I was just like, bro, like we waited how long for Jade to have a match? And she hasn't even had a match yet. So like we could wait less than a month for Mercedes to have a match. Right?
I just thought that they were gonna have her first match this week because they're back in Massachusetts. Why would you run Massachusetts 1 month after Boston if you weren't gonna do the first Mercedes match there? And I feel like they have made multiple missteps in the whole Mercedes run already, in my opinion, because big business, you should have had if she's healthy, Britt Baker should have been her first feud, and you should have started it the first week off the rip. If Britt's hurt and that's not what you want to do, you wanted to do the whole Willow story, which is seemingly what they've been doing on TV, then you need to turn Mercedes. Because Mercedes and Willow both trying to be baby faces, you're gonna make the fans choose. And I hate to tell you this, they're gonna choose Willow because Willow is a more natural baby face than Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné is not playing the role that she is best at. That is why she has had the weakest of the 3 debuts.
Yeah. When it comes to because I don't even I think she had a good back issue, right? So I don't even think she's like even close to being cleared, or like I don't know what's the update when it comes to that. It's just kind of ironic. It's kind of ironic that she was like Thunder faking her injury and got a back issue, and now Britt has a back issue. I guess that's that's karma, but that's another story for another day.
That karma, ooh, spicy.
But that's another story for another day. I'm just saying, but no, I mean I get your points too. Like I don't know. I guess I'm in the situation where I'm just like I'm gonna wait and see what's gonna happen. But I also get the point of like how they should have used her. I just think her being healed wasn't gonna happen just because of like the hype behind it, and they wanted something positive. That's about it. That's the only thing I could think of.
I'm okay with her not being a heel, but you gotta let her play the character that she's best at. She's comfortable in. Yeah.
And I think part of it is like she's trying things too. I don't think it's so. I think it's her trying things, and I can respect it because she wants to try new things because they've given her free reign to certain things.
Yeah.
But she has to realize too is like you have to do something that's gonna work, and I think this is gonna be a learning experience for her as well.
We got in the chat here TNC saying, did Mercedes still maintain her high ratings? She got a bump. They put her at the 9 o'clock hour, and they did get a bump in the quarter hour for that. But she did 1 million her first week. Second week she did about 900 something, and then this week was about 700 something. So just based on numbers, that means the number's going down. But she did get a bump in the viewership, so it can be looked as a positive for this week, because this was a bad rating and only Mercedes and Swerve got a bump after the first segment.
Wow. Well, they need to get her more involved. Like, pick who you're gonna like go against. Like, you can't keep looking at the girls. Like, you're here with an agenda. Like, you got to do something.
It looks like they picked Willow, but it doesn't look like they're gonna do that matchup until Double or Nothing.
Which is stupid though. Like, we still have the whole pay-per-view in April. She got to do somebody. She got to get somebody.
I think you do Serena Deeb at Dynasty. That's who she should face in her first matchup. Serena
I like
Deeb.
that. I'm not mad at that.
And hopefully, and we don't know for sure. I saw people in the chat asking, we don't know for sure if Mercedes is even healthy yet or cleared to compete. So.
True.
We got Nate Milton. Nate Milton says the difference is Okada and Ospreay were in ring from the jump. Also, there's no definitive direction for Mercedes, unlike Kaz going after Eddie and Will versus Don Callis family. They've lessened her shine, and that's on TK. Yeah, no, there is a direction. There is a definitive direction, Nate. That part you're wrong. There is a definitive direction. It's Willow. That's not the right definitive direction. That's the issue. They chose a definitive direction for her. She's feuding with Willow, continuing from what they did in New Japan 1 year ago. That's fine. Once you make that decision, you have to put her character on the right track to tell that story. And they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. It's a weird situation just because I think this is just their way of, hey, let's keep Mercedes away from the title. Let's not bring her in now. Let's have her do something. And then you could use somebody who's been active. Willow and Statlander have been active on TV. You know, they've been working both shows. They've been working Dynamite and Collision. So I don't know. It's a little like her running it back with Willow. I'm not 100% against it. I just didn't think that would have been the you know what I mean? Like, that was kind of like, oh, all right, they're going with Willow and Mercedes again. Cool. Let's see what they do. Like, but it's not something I'm really excited about, if that makes any sense.
No, I feel you. No, I can understand that. I can understand. We get a new report has an update on MJF's condition and status with All Elite Wrestling. The former AEW World Champion has been off the TV since losing the title at AEW World's End, and there's been speculation about his status with his contract being up early this year. According to PW Insider Elite, while he is not currently on the AEW roster, website roster, it is believed that he has re-signed with the company and his contractual status is a work. The report notes that MJF was in Boston after AEW Dynamite Big Business and met with AEW officials. Though he was not backstage at the show, he is off TV while he remains on the shelf due to injury and is rehabbing those injuries, including a torn labrum. No word as of yet on whether he had surgery on the injury nor an expected return date. He has not been backstage at an AEW show since World's End. And of course, that should kind of fan the flames of people who are fantasy booking MJF to make the save for Cody at WrestleMania.
That's a joke, right?
Yeah,
now there actually is people.
You know, there is. There has been people. It's just, why? You don't put MJF. You don't sign somebody like MJF and you don't put him in that situation. Like, that's a situation you don't put him in.
Well, more updates on injuries outside of MJF. We'll have more about MJF as we get more updates and statuses on him. What do you guys think we're gonna see MJF back by Dynasty? That was what a rumor going around when Dynasty was announced. You don't think so? You both don't think so?
No.
I think that when MJF returns, he's gonna make the save for Wardlow against Undisputed Kingdom.
Yep.
That'd be nice. That
I
actually
like that
nice.
one. That would be good. That's
I don't think
actually a
it's
good idea.
Dynasty. I don't think it's Dynasty just because of the seriousness of his injury. He had a fucking, what was it? A torn what was it, labor?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's he got that late December and Dynasty's in April. I don't see that being realistic.
The Wrestling Observer newsletter had some updates on Kenny Omega. It is believed that he to be getting intestinal surgery coming up soon after he was diagnosed with diverticulitis back in December. It was noted that Omega has not made a decision yet, but it seems likely that's what he'll be doing. Omega has reportedly been in a good amount of pain for months. Omega himself said that the surgery is looking likely as 2 different doctors suggested it. It was noted that the plan when he returns to AEW is a feud with Kazuchika Okada. He will need to be in top shape for that if he can come back. Omega's ordeal was said to be life-threatening, but other wrestlers have had diverticulitis and came back at 100%, including Brock Lesnar and Davey Boy Smith Jr. So we're hoping we can say the same about Kenny Omega very soon. We just need you healthy by August, my friend.
That's it. That's all we need you to do. Just stay out of it anyway so that you can get back for August.
Just get the surgery now. It's like a 3-month recovery.
Yep.
Good timing. Good timing.
We're good on that. We can all say that it's okay.
Immediately following Dynamite this week, it was the return of the rankings. Yeah, he didn't forget completely, guys. Don't worry. Tony didn't forget. He was just biding his time. AEW released new rankings following this week's episode of Dynamite. The rankings are the first since mid-February and see Swerve Strickland and Thunder Rosa on top at the men's and women's division, respectively. The Bang Bang Gang are currently on top of the trios division, while Best Friends top the vacant AEW Tag Team Championship division. The men's division sees, of course, you got the champion, Samoa Joe, Adam Copeland, TNT champion, international champion, Roderick Strong, and Kazuchika Okada, the AEW Continental Champion. The top 5 is Swerve Strickland, Orange Cassidy, Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, and Bryan Danielson. Women's division, you got the champion, Timeless Toni Storm, and TBS champion, Julia Hart. And the top 5 is Thunder Rosa, Mariah May, Willow Nightingale, Deonna Purrazzo, and Serena Deeb. The tag team division, you got the top 5 Best Friends, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, not in the tournament, Ricky Starks and Big Bill, and FTR. And then in the World Trios division, you have the Acclaim and Daddy Ass as the champions, and the top 5, Bang Bang Gang, The Elite, Blackpool Combat Club, Undisputed Kingdom, and House of Black. Any thoughts, any comments on the new rankings?
I mean, I like the way that he's doing it. That we don't have to constantly see it every week and everybody's complaining. I think this was an approach they did mention that they were going to take. It was going to be noticeable, but it's not going to be presented every week. And I think it needs to be presented every week. Just because when we have pay-per-views, title matches are already set. They're already set in place. So to me, when you already have it set in place, there's no point of promoting the rankings, because once that match happens, those change. Those plans change. Things change. So I think doing it like this, it's better. And a commentary, they do mention it time to time about the rankings. So it was not like it was completely gone, or it wasn't like they forgot. But I like the presentation of it better than when they first started.
He needs to do it twice a month. It just you can't do it once a month. I feel like that's too rarely.
Yeah,
you get the people that's like, oh, where's the rankings at? Where's the rankings at? You get that too much. Twice a month. You do it. You do one after the pay-per-view, and then one on the way to the pay-per-view after you determine number 1 contenders.
And then when they get proven wrong, they don't want to eat crow on live stream. They could go fuck themselves.
Go fuck yourself.
They don't want to do that. In an interview with NJPW1972.com, the scapegoat Jack Perry gave us an update on his status with AEW and spoke about his suspension from the company last year, why he thinks the company is afraid to let him return. On why he went to New Japan Pro Wrestling, he says, well, Japan for me is an opportunity to start over, not to start over, but to start a new chapter without having to apologize or pretend to be sorry for the actions of other people. It's a way I can stay true to myself and continue to grow despite everything that's going on. On his issues with AEW, he says, ripping that contract was a declaration. I'm not playing by your rules anymore. If AEW are too afraid to have me anymore, if the specter of Jack Perry is too much, they don't want to deal with the conversations, the ramifications that brings, then that's fine. I don't need them. I will go by myself across the world, all by myself, without any of my friends, without any of the things I'm used to, anything that's been in my life for the past 5 years, and I'll do it on my own, make my own. On the scapegoat nickname, he said, I think it's ingrained in human nature to be afraid of blame and the disapproval of others. At the end of the day, that's weakness. That's a weak mind state, a weak soul. If you know the truth, what good is the opinion of other people? If you know the truth, you have power. I'm not shying away from the blame. If you need me to be the scapegoat because you don't have the bravery to stand up for your own actions, then that's fine. I'm man enough to take that blame from all of us, and I'm not going to shy away from it. The scapegoat, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Perry. Put some respect on that man's name.
That was actually pretty good. I was laughing. The reason why I was fucking dying because I'm like, Brian Alvarez really fell for that bullshit again. And this is what I've been saying for this moron. Like, he does some good stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't mind Brian, but it's shit like this. It's just like, bro. Like, and then when he gets called out, he becomes a bitch about it. It's like, bro, like we know it was all bullshit, right? Because how is it from Dave's report, right? Your own colleague, he reported what was going on to like, oh no, Jack Perry told me himself. Never apologized. He never did this. He never did that. He wasn't going to initiate first contact with TK, even though Jack Perry was the one that was fucking wrong in the first place. Like, what the fuck? But then also, even the hindsight of like New Japan booking, he comes in and rips a AEW contract. Seriously? Like, seriously? This is what we're doing? Like, seriously? You believe that shit? And then he has a matchable Mox. So you're telling me that he has such bad blood with AEW that, oh no, you're going to work with an AEW talent anyway. Get the fuck out of here. This is why I knew it was all work. I mean, it's good that Brian Alvarez fell for it because it just proves how much of a fucking moron he is. I'm just saying. Like, this is what we were saying last week. I'm just saying.
No, we're still putting respect on his name because he's the reason why House of Torture is the top faction in NJPW, Nicky boy. The pure force and the pure star power of Jack Perry.
And that's the sad part about all this too.
AEW Rampage last night. The show featured AEW International Champion Roger Strong beating Daddy Magic Matt Menard in an eliminator matchup. Post-match, Undisputed Kingdom jumped Daddy Magic until the best friends came down to make the save. However, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, attacked OC and Trent Beretta from behind to end the show on top. Deonna Purrazzo got a win over Rhodes, while Mariah May defeated Nikita in the women's division, and Dustin Rhodes beat the Butcher in the opener. Meanwhile, over in CMLL, they had a big show in Arena, Mexico last night with Blue Panther, Volador Jr., Ultimo Guerrero, and Mystico defeating the AEW team of Matt Sydal and the Blackpool Combat Club's John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Bryan Danielson in a fabulous 8-man tag team main event. The vibes, the crowd reaction to this show, must watch this matchup just for the crowd reaction in Arena Mexico. Arena Mexico is one of a kind with how rowdy that crowd gets. Bryan Danielson playing American Dragon heel in Mexico was fucking fabulous. He comes out doing yes chants. By middle of the matchup, he's doing no chants. He ends the matchup after they lose. He's like, no. He said, I will not come to CMLL. He said, I did not lose. And he challenged Blue Panther, his ultimate dream match. He will have it next week in Arena Mexico. Back-to-back week in Arena Mexico for Bryan Danielson.
Wow.
He versus Blue Panther next week in Arena Mexico for CMLL.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Look at him like living out his best life as he's about to finish.
He's got his list.
He's
just checking off all the people.
It was a fun matchup. I got to see it this morning. Usually the Mexico crowd, they're usually a good crowd. Sometimes it depends.
Okay, I think Josh is now breaking up.
Like if the Mexico
is.
crowd and
you're breaking up, Josh.
They're not really familiar with you. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think he heard us until this now. We got the Nikki boy who says you're we see you're moving, but it's like choppy. Nikki boy says that's why Dragon's the GOAT. And he said he still needs I still need a rematch with Dragon and Hechicero. So there you go. Yeah, that is also true that they've mostly drunk. No offense. So that's why they were out.
The crowds and ML.
No. So what I was saying is that sometimes they're not familiar with you. They usually won't get a crowd reaction because that happen with the Elite time to time. Where the Elite, they're so high in the U.S., but in Mexico, they were kind of just like regular people out there.
Yeah, that's true. The BCC got a bunch of heat in this match. When they came out to a large amount of boos. I loved it. On Tuesday, AEW announced Kosei Ivy as the company's new COO. Fightful Select reports that Ivry has been with the company for the last couple of months and has been making changes since January. Ivry reportedly took over many of the responsibilities of Rafael Morphy, who left AEW in December and had been doing, and AEW had many cities already booked and advertised in March, and AEW kept all of them as opposed to changing them to more favorable locations from a financial standpoint. There were several Canadian dates already set as well, and some of AEW's April dates have not been revealed when March began, and the site reports that some of them were still in discussion as of mid or late February. Ivry is said to have a very different approach than what Morphy had, and that many in AEW were excited about the move, and that's been unanimously praised for Ivry so far, and he has brought a new approach that has made logistics and streamlining locations of events more efficient than previously, and I believe this is the highest ranking for a African American in a wrestling company, and since probably Will Washington being hired 2 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, good for him. I'm excited to see what he will do for, our peoples. We're rooting for you, and you ain't do nothing yet. So let's see what happens.
No, he did something. They did good house show, a good house for Toronto and Boston. They did not do good for Quebec this week. They did like a 10,000 seat arena, only got 3,000 in there. They had to cut off like 2 sections. So
okay, all right.
Still growing pains. What I'm saying. In the latest episode of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy said that he has been offered a new contract by AEW and is still weighing his options before making the new deal or making a decision. Hardy's current deal expires at the end of this month. He says there is little news to go along with my contract negotiations. I have an AEW contract sitting in front of me for a few years, and I'm looking through it. I'm deciding what I want to do going forward. There's obviously still some options. I got to make sure that I'm aware of the ins and outs of the contract, and I want to make sure everything is up to par as far as what I want to be, because once again, I know that I only have a couple of years left of doing this, and I want to make the most out of those years, whatever it may be. As first reported by SE Scoops, as far as contracts going on, you have WWE Hall of Famer and AEW on-air talent Jake Roberts has signed a new deal with All Elite Wrestling. Roberts spoke about the new deal during the Snake Pick podcast this week. He said he informed his co-host Marcus D'Angelo, "Well, folks, just to let you know, you're going to be looking at me on AEW for another year." That's right. They re-signed me, so that's great news. Looking forward to doing it. So congratulations to the Snake. Always good to see him in good health and getting some more money. Love to see it.
I'm here for it. Good for him. Let the legends get a little bit of money, even if he comes out once every 3 months.
Because they only use Lance Archer that much. And then finally, Becky Lynch recently shared her thoughts on reports of the big Mercedes Moné AEW contract. On Moné's lucrative deal, she said, "I think that's an important part, getting paid equally for the equal work and the equal position we are at right now." She told the Orlando Sentinel, women's revolutions are fine and well, but making sure that they are equal to contracts and financial reward for these things when we are doing equal work is hugely important. Moné addressed the size of her contract in a post AEW debut video, noting, "I'm not Mercedes Moné for no reason. Money, it changes everything, and I'm always about that bag." Absolutely. I guarantee you, Becky Lynch will be probably getting $1 more than Mercedes' deal when she re-signs, because she did also confirm in interviews that she has 2 months left on her WWE deal. So if Mercedes Moné is currently the highest paid woman in professional wrestling, Becky Lynch will get $1 more to be higher than her. And especially the fact that she learned throughout these negotiations that Charlotte is paid as much or if not more than her right now.
Damn. Okay, well.
There you go. But let's move over to ROH TV to finish off the converse. ROH TV, the show featured Kyle Fletcher defeating Blake Christian in a good main event to retain the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Post-match, Lee Johnson came out on stage to make it official that he will challenge Fletcher for the TV title at ROH Supercard of Honor next Friday. You also had Kiera Hogan pick up a win, basically a spousal win, over her wife, Diamante, in a decent little matchup.
Her wife?
I guess you didn't know they're together? Sorry for exposing that to you. It was announced that there will be a Stardom Trios matchup with World of Stardom champion Micah teaming up with Mina Shirakawa and Mai Sera to face Tam Nakano and Queen's Quest Azumi and Saya Kamatani coming up at ROH Supercard of Honor. We also heard from Mark Briscoe in a really good promo answering the challenge from Eddie Kingston for Supercard of Honor for the Ring of Honor World Championship. So that was Ring of Honor TV this week. Pretty decent episode. Nothing that you got to go out of your way to watch, but they announced some stuff for Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. That was the most important thing. Any thoughts?
That starter match. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
I was surprised as fuck when it got announced. I was like, "What the fuck?" So that was a.
Well, you need to pull up the card, and the card is going next Friday.
You gotta hurry up, man. They're running out of time here.
The Mark Briscoe. Yeah, and then the Mark Briscoe promo, that was great. I thought that was great stuff. Sometimes it's a little bit just because like he talks about his bro, and then show like old clips. Like I didn't know it would hit me as hard as it would, but it's like that's something that's always needed when it comes to Mark's story, because that's part of his story. So it was some great stuff.
Absolutely agree with you there. But let's move on to an NJPW. There was no big shows this week, just some quick news updates on NJPW. They announced their big joint show coming up all together, which will see multiple Japanese wrestling organizations come together under one roof. The event is scheduled for May 6th at Nippon Budokan. The show will feature NJPW, Pro Wrestling Noah, DDT Pro Wrestling, Dragon Gate, Big Japan Pro Wrestling, and Stardom. All together, United Japan Pro Wrestling inauguration and Noto earthquake benefit event is designed to benefit victims and the impact of the earthquake in Noto Peninsula. that took place earlier this year. The show will be available on ABRA, on Bima pay-per-view in both English and Japanese. Some of the matches they've already announced. You're going to see Jeff Cobb and Ishii on opposite sides of a big tag team match featuring Noah and Big Japan talent. You got this the present and future trios matchup coming up, as you got Yuya Uemura of New Japan Pro Wrestling teaming up with AEW and DDT's Konosuke Takeshita, as well as Shun Skywalker of Dragon Gate to verse NJPW Shoto Amino, Pro Wrestling Noah's Kaito Kiyomiya, and DDT's KOD champion Yuka Yuno. And then finally, you also got a big trios matchup with the legends of New Japan and Noah, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Naramichi Marufuji, and I believe that is Daseki versus Evil, Ren Narita, and Yujiro Takahashi. Yes, House of Torture will get a big match on this card as well, because New Japan fucking hates me. They just know how to piss me off. Just book House of Torture on the show. I'm just going to piss me off, always. And then the sad New Japan news this week, unfortunately, guys. Someone retired. Bullet Club War Dog's own member, Alex Coughlin, said that he has retired from professional wrestling. Coughlin posted to Twitter on Saturday to announce the news. He says, "Yeah, I'm retired and it sucks now. Leave me the fuck alone. Actually, I have some merch and gear to sell still, so don't fuck off just yet." Coughlin has yet to elaborate on his decision to retire. He was a regular for NJPW, and he most recently competed in the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup with the rest of the Bullet Club War Dogs against United Empire. In the matchup, he was seen falling with his foot falling through a hole in the ring, where he came up limping after the matchup. That's what was told to me following the match. But his last match was on February 24th, so he wrestled after the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup for NYWC Psycho Circus 21. Coughlin's NJPW contract was reportedly set to expire in February, and David Finlay, the Bullet Club War Dogs leader, responded to his announcement saying, "War Dogs will never be the same, and you will never be replaced. MD for life." What do y'all think about Alex Coughlin calling it a day for New Japan Pro Wrestling and retiring? Josh?
Surprising. Just because, like, I think in wrestling years he's pretty young, so it's kind of surprising. Something that I didn't expect. Then once he announced it, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like that's pretty. It kind of felt abrupt. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of felt like out of nowhere. I know he was dealing with like some injuries and stuff like that. Maybe it could be that, or maybe it could all be bullshit. Maybe it was just him like just talking shit. It could be that.
Just talking, just to be talking.
Or maybe he just got enough of people speculating, and he was like, "All right, you know what? I'm just gonna say this, and then I could call." I mean, wrestlers come out of retirement all the time, so
that's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
I mean, it could be that. But as of right now, I mean, he hasn't wrestled since like February, right? From what I know, like he hasn't wrestled for a while. So again, it could mean anything. But I mean, if it's true, I mean, it's surprising.
Yeah, Hanare's been out of action ever since the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup as well. So that
fucked up a lot of people.
That I remember I was on this show on the review bemoaning that whole spot when they exposed the boards and the boards were fucking flipping and popping out and shit. I was like, no, this is way too dangerous. Y'all totally have taken me out of this fucking matchup. And here we are.
Yeah.
TNA Impact this week is how we close off what we missed. You had Steph Lander make her return to TNA to win the 8-4-1 matchup by last pinning Rosemary to become the #1 contender to face Jordan Grace for the TNA Knockouts World Champion at Rebellion after an assist from the also returning Matt Cardona to bring GCW's Deathmatch King and Queen to TNA. You also had Steve Macklin defeat Chris Sabin in the main event. Good main event matchup. Probably my opinion, the match of the night on the show was Eddie Edwards beating Speedball Mike Bailey in a very hard-hitting matchup to preview the System versus Speedball Mountain for the TNA World Tag Team titles at Rebellion. You also had Josh Alexander tear it up with the debuting Tracy Williams in a mini technical wrestling clinic. Post-match, Alexander Hammerstone came out and attacked both men, putting Williams in the torture rack while still holding his trophy of Josh Alexander's headgear with him. But
nah, is that on his show? I mean, his bicep?
yes, he's trying to say his biceps the size of his head.
Yo, that's some good hill shit right there, yo.
Hammerstone's doing good. Hammerstone's doing good. I like the fact that he stole the headgear as the trophy.
He's a beast.
And he got like, yo, so is that the thing is as big as his bicep? Wow, that's saying a lot. Damn.
My biceps the size of your fucking head. How about that? TNA was in the news this week as a new report had an update on the Motor City Machine Guns after last weekend's TNA Impact tapings. The longtime TNA Tag Team's contracts are done at the end of the month, and Fightful, Select, and PW Insider both report that the team finished out their commitment to the company at last Saturday's taping session and received a send-off at the tapings. PW Insider notes that the backstage send-off was pretty emotional, and Shelley and Sabin are set to become free agents on April 1st, and the team is not expected to be back in TNA, although the door is open to return down the line. Fightful notes that the two are expected to have multiple interested parties in their services once they hit free agency and have not responded to individual questions about their status. Now, I know I said after they signed Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes that maybe they should chill on re-signing people. But I'm telling you, I mean, if Tony Khan wants to act like he got a penis pump and put his penis back on the table again, you sign the two best in-ring workers on free agency, the biggest female star, and the biggest tag team in free agency in 1 year.
Put it on the table. I'm ready. Do it.
Put the dick on the table. Go ahead. Do it. Do it, Tony. Put the dick in the dick on the table and put your money where your mouth is. Not the other way around. Anyway, Killer Kelly, what do y'all think? Do y'all think the Guns are gonna go? Where y'all think the Guns are gonna land next, or do y'all think they're gonna return to TNA?
AEW, something new venture for them. I think they've been in TNA for so long that it's like,
they need to change. They need to change it up.
Not only that, but it's like, change. But also, just something unique. A lot of matchups you could do in AEW tag team matchups would be fun.
Yeah.
But also, the tag team division, like I would add to the tag team division too. But I think that they're in the points of their careers where I think that they want to get paid too. You want some big money, you could go to AEW because it's not going to happen in WWE. Like I said last week, Fabian, the one time he was in WWE, they made him to a coach. So I just don't think they're going to make him a talent. It'll be the same situation.
They would put him on NXT and they'll probably give him developmental contracts, which is developmental contracts probably more than what they were making in TNA. But still, if you want to make the most money possible and still be able to do what you were doing on the independent scene, and Shelley has a whole career. He's like an EMT and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why he left the business for a few years. Like if you still want to balance all the other stuff that you do, AEW is the best place where you get paid and do that.
Get paid and do it, and you're not working all those other days. Like you can still, like if you live in a certain, like, look at Will. Will is going back and forth, freaking London. like this is the opportunity for you to like do other things and to seek other opportunities because of your work schedule.
And they have ready-made dream matches with the Bucks, who they really were the reasons that the Bucks became stars. And then you also they never faced FTR. Lucha Bros is still out there when Rey Fenix returns. Them against Undisputed Kingdom or Top Flight or Private Party. There's so many great matches for the Guns.
Exactly. That's some fun matchups. And I think, again, they're at a point of their careers where it's like, guys, you want to get paid? This is a place to come to. You can still do your own stuff because we've seen it even with Britt. Britt was on top of her game, and she has a career outside of wrestling, and they like to do that too. So I don't think it would be an issue with Shea at all if that's what he still wants to do, or he might just be so comfortable making so much money that he doesn't need to do both. Like, you never know.
Also true. Final notes with TNA. Killer Kelly is reportedly taking some time off from TNA. Fightful Select reports that Kelly was at the last weekend's taping and is expected to take time off following it. She is currently not factored into the company's creative plans, and there is some initial confusion as TNA sources use the term finished up with TNA, leading to PW Insider and Fightful both believing that she was gone from the company. However, the term was used in terms of her being finished up with her current run, and she is still under contract with TNA until August of 2025. PW Insider reports that TNA will begin teasing a new possible tag team partner for Masha Slamovich, who has been teaming with Kelly as MK Ultra in the coming weeks. And speaking of big news for TNA, they announced 2 huge signings this week as AJ Francis, the artist formerly known as Top Dollar, is officially signed through 2024 with TNA. Francis was said to be previously working under a per appearance deal. Tommy Dreamer reportedly brought Francis into the company, and he made a good impression, leading to his feud with Joe Hendry, and now teaming up with a now heel turned Rich Swann. Besides TNA, Francis has also worked with GCW and MLW earlier this year, and it's also said that he has maintained a good relationship with WWE and Triple H because he always wants to get that check back. The report also notes that under his new TNA deal, Francis will be allowed to continue working his dates with NWA, MLW, and potentially even NJPW. However, the deal does prohibit him from appearing in WWE or AEW. In an interview with Denise Salcedo, Ace Austin also announced that he has signed a new deal with TNA Wrestling, which the company also confirmed. PW Insider notes that Austin's last deal expired in February. He said, "I am definitely looking to stay with TNA because being with TNA allows you freedom that doesn't exist anywhere else." So happy for Ace Austin, happy for AJ Francis getting new deals with TNA, and TNA still making moves a couple of months after their rebrand.
Yeah, I think the Ace Austin signing, I think that's pretty cool. I've always liked Ace Austin. I think he's a great worker. When it comes to AJ Francis, I don't think his in-ring is great, but I don't think he's a bad guy. I know he's had like a weird reputation, but I think that's more of him standing up for people, standing up for himself. And sometimes I could rub people the wrong way, especially the way that you approach it. But I mean, it's good for him. I mean, it gives him something if he wants to continue being in the business. I think it's a good move for him.
Okay.
And look at that. We have made it to what we miss with time to spare for Miss Krssi Love's favorite part of the show, match of the week. See, Krssi? Aren't you proud of me? You gave me a time cut, and I hit it. I hit it to perfection.
I mean, I'm super duper proud of you, friend. I didn't think we were gonna make it.
Hey, it was a light week. There was no collision. So.
And
but yes, we have made it to match of the week. This is where every week we give you 3 to 5 matches that we consider the must-watch from this past week in professional wrestling. As always, I will start things off with us this week, trying to put everything in my head that I saw this week.
I was like, do you have 10 or do you have 5?
I have 5 this week. I'm just going to have 5 this week because I don't want to think that hard. Number 5 for me this week, I'm going to go with the Wolf Dogs versus Alpha Academy from NXT. I thought that was a really fun main event to the show. Number 4 for me this week, I'll go with Ricochet versus JD McDonough from WWE Raw. That was just an awesome matchup. That Devlin side into the Canadian Destroyer had me like Pat McAfee jumping out my couch seat. And then number 3 for me this week, the CMLL matchup with Blue Panther, Volador, Mystico, Ultimo versus BCC and Matt Sydal. Just a super fun matchup. Once again, like I said earlier, you guys got to watch that matchup just for the crowd. The crowd was amazing during that matchup. Number 2 for me this week, Will Ospreay versus Shibata from Dynamite. Back-to-back matches, Shibata looked great in the matches against Bryan, against Ospreay, and I love Ospreay's promo afterwards where he said that Bryan got a fluke flash win against Shibata. I hit the Storm Driver, Hidden Blade, 1, 2, 3. I'm better than you. I love it. And number 1 for me this week, though, number 1 contender matchup, Swerve, Takeshita. Takesha's been the best in-ring worker in AEW.
I said that.
The Darby match, the Ospreay match, this match, he's been killing it.
He keep losing all the matches, but he's still being elevated. Like, he still looks good. He's making your partner look good. Like, he's still coming out on top.
Krssi, your matches of the week.
Okay, number 5 is Ricochet and JD McDonough. Number 4 is the women's tag match from Dynamite with Willow. Was it? It was a tag match, right?
It was a four-way. It was Willow, Stat,
Sorry, it's not a tag.
And Scoot and Scott.
Yes, that's number 4 for
that
me.
DVD on the apron was beast.
Yeah. I said before, this was your stuff when I was like, AEW been putting on some killer women's matches these last few weeks. They've been great. Just take notes. So number 3 for me is going to be what was from Raw? Damn it.
McDonough and Ricochet.
No, I did that one. No. What was what closed out? No. Oh God.
Yeah, definitely not gonna be Jey Uso and Shinsuke Nakamura.
No, that was terrible. That was terrible. God, no. Ugh. All right, I can't remember that one. Number 2 was Will Ospreay and Shibata, and then it was Swerve and Takesha for number 1. When I remember what my 3rd one is, I'm gonna give it to y'all. But I had it. Can't remember right now. It went away.
Josh, what's your matches of the week?
I'm going with a top 5 this week. Number 5, Ricochet versus Donna. Number 4, the women's match from Dynamite. Number 3, the CMML match. That was a really fun matchup. I got to see it this morning. That was number 3, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, Ospreay versus Shibata, and then number 1, Swerve versus Takesha.
I love the weeks when Dynamite gives us 2 of our matches of the week because it makes it easier to remember.
Did you like Anakin and use the Rock segment? That was great.
She said it's AEW's week, the Fatal 4-Way women's matchup, the Takesha versus Swerve, and she went with Shibata versus Ospreay segment of the week. Rock beats up Cody. No, we're gonna start doing we're gonna do it like VH1, guys.
You see why you had to go that far? Why you had to bring a segment? This ain't segment of the week. Why you had to bring that up?
We're now gonna be doing not only match of the week, but who had the best week ever?
The Rock.
My pick, The Rock. The Rock had the best week ever. Josh?
The best week ever?
Yeah.
The Rock.
Ospreay.
That's fair. I knew you weren't going to say The Rock, but Krssi Love. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media. You got the Body Slam podcast. You guys are killing it over there. You and Stephanie Hypes. And we got our Dark Side of the Ring reviews, but let everybody know social media accounts.
Hey, friends. Okay, so I had a busy week this week. Catch myself and SPS, we did another review on the Dark Side of the Ring, the Brutus Beefcake review. So go and watch that. Other than that, catch us every Saturday, 11:05 a.m. for our flagship show, which is Tru Heel Heat. Bodyslam.net, Know Your Role, every Friday. Myself and Stephanie Hypes. We are going to try to do Servant Face the Hills when we're together, when we finally meet this weekend at WrestleMania. I'm finally going to meet Stephanie in person. So we're going to try to give you guys a little snippet or something for that. And then I was on Workhorse Wrestling's podcast. Thanks to Annika, Dolores, Professor Chris whooped my ass, but it's okay. I still had a great time. Shout out to them for letting me be on their show. It was so fun. I can't wait to go back again. And then that's it. Other than that, you follow me on IG, Krssi Love _1. Tru Heel Krssi Love is on Twitter. And that's it, friends. If you see me at WrestleMania, shout me out. I will say hello. It is okay. I don't bite.
Hey, but you're going to see her one more time on this channel. Because next Friday, we go live here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Yes, the flagship podcast will not be on next Saturday because there's way too much going on. New Japan's got a show. NXT's got a show. way too much going on at the usual time on Saturday. So we'll be moving the podcast 11:05 a.m. Eastern time on Friday. So join us live for that.
Yes.
We'll recap the week in wrestling so far, but more importantly, we'll be previewing all the shows, Supercard of Honor, NXT Stand and Deliver, both nights of WrestleMania, any independent shows that night as well. So join us for the big Tru Heel Heat 271 to preview WrestleMania weekend. Josh, let everybody know where they can follow you.
You can follow me, JMPunk321, Twitter and Instagram. I might be on tonight. Romeo's doing a watch along Romeo Mania 2024. He's doing a watch along for that. I might join for that. Don't know yet. And then Wednesday for Elite Heat, I'll be on for that.
There you go. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Tru Heel Heat. Follow patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. That's the best place to support us when we're not live here on the channel, as well as over at ProWrestlingTees.com and ForYourWear.com, where you can get your Tru Heel Heat merchandise, your Serving Facing Heels merchandise over there as well. And go to Tru Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment. We'll be going live tomorrow with our latest X-Men 97 review for season 1, episode 3. So join us for that tomorrow. Check out episode 1 and 2 review. That's up right now over there. Like Krssi Love said, check out our Dark Side of the Ring season 5, episode 4, the Brutus Beefcake story review right now. Mid-ass career, mid-ass episode. But terrible. Anyway.
Not surprised.
For Miss Krssi Love, for the True Jaw Josh, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 270. Look at you now, boy. We are signing off until next time.
Laters.